going on, everybody? Hello, hello, and happy Saturday to you. I am super excited because this is the day, the big day, the big day of the book launch and reveal. Hello, hello. Y'all listen, wherever you're chiming in from. And I love the person that just steps up first and says, hey. Oh, wait a minute. Let me do it again. Hey. Chiming in, wherever you're chiming in from. Give us your city, your state. Give us your country. Wherever you're chiming in from, let us know because these authors, y'all, let me tell you something. This book launch conference, Breaking Free, the Making of an Entrepreneur, is going to be fire. I am so excited about the authors. Y'all don't even understand the journey that these ladies, all of these ladies, have been on, maybe even still on, because okay, come on, North Carolina, come on, Detroit, Michigan. Yes, they wear it with a confidence, right? They walk with an air that says, not that I've got it all under control, but I know my destination and I know my lane. Okay, that's what we call focus. These are powerhouse women. And here's the funny part. Before I bring them on the stage, they don't know what I'm going to ask. Okay. We were all in this book together, but they have no idea of the questions that I'm about to drop on them today. So they are coming off the cuff. And this is what I want you all to do. If you have any questions, if you have any shout outs, congratulations, comments, I want you to light the chat up because you never know. Your chat might end up on the screen, honey. Your comment might end up on the screen. So, y'all come on and bring the fire in this chat, bring the energy. And what I'm getting ready to do is I'm about to bring these ladies on. And first, we're going to let them introduce themselves once we get everybody on. And then comes the interview questions. All right. So for all of you that are in the chat, if you can find your hand clapping, your smiley face emoji, go ahead and put it in the chat as I bring on the amazing, phenomenal authors of Breaking Free, the Making of an Entrepreneur. Okay, then. Let's see. Come on, y'all. Light up the chat. Light up the chat. Light up the chat. Light up the chat. Because they are coming in. Yes, yes, and yes. What's going on, ladies? How are y'all?
Doing well.
Doing all right.
Well, thank you for asking.
Yes, I love your energy.
Thank you. Thank you. I was getting ready to tell the audience, y'all see how composed they are, how dignified they are, and I'm so loud. Okay, because let me tell y'all something. Let me tell the audience something real quick. Except for one person. All except for one person. I know how these ladies act when the camera ain't on. Okay? Don't let that composure fool you up in here on today. Okay. So I know the real deal, Holyfield. Yes, yes, yes. From the 336. Okay, hold on. Let me showcase this one right here because Candace, this is your husband. Niggas, you know I had to showcase that, bro. You know I had to do that. Anytime we get support for the spouses, just make my heart warm. Look at you. All right. So I'm going to ask each one of you to introduce yourself. And in your introduction, don't tell about the book, but tell us about what you do right now. Okay. So I'm going to start with how I see it on my screen, going from the top and around. Greetings, Queen. Oh, okay. Shout out to Dr. Sharice. Okay, you got a shout out from Spring 91. Hello. So, Keisha, if you could introduce yourself and tell us what your business is.
Absolutely. Good afternoon, everyone. Nishika, thank you for the opportunity to be a part of this collaboration. Uh, Again, my name is Keisha Sinclair. I am from Fayetteville, North Carolina. I am the owner and the operator of Creating Stitches. It is located in Greensboro, North Carolina, 5719 West Friendly Avenue. And it's a custom apparel and embroidery business.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you, Greensboro. And Dr. D, go ahead and introduce yourself.
Good afternoon. Good afternoon. Good afternoon. I hope everybody's doing well. Thank you so much for this opportunity. It's been wonderful doing this book with all you ladies. Okay, so my name is Dr. Dania Antalya Thomas. Everybody calls me Dr. D. I'm an ADHD empowerment and resilient coach. I'm a speaker and also an author. My work focuses on helping adults, especially women, parents and students, and like professionals. I help them to learn to manage their ADHD, build confidence, and break free from limitations so they can step in their purpose. My business is based online, which means I get to serve clients nationwide, internationally, through virtual coaching, workshops, and also speaking engagements. Yeah, so I just help people that feels like they're stuck, misunderstood, overwhelmed, because I've been there. I just didn't have a lane for it, so I created a lane, so I can be that resource for people who are neurodivergent, especially ADHD. Because as much as I'm trying to compose, this ADHD in my head is trying to go, let's go, let's go, let's go. But I have to sit still until I get there. So thank you guys.
And thank you, Dr. D. Thank you. We appreciate the work that you are doing as well. So with her being online, y'all will be able to connect with her on any given day. And y'all, the congratulations are coming in. So Dr. Sharice, yes, the mic is yours, dear. Introduce yourself.
Well, good day, good people. My name is Dr. Sharice Sam Davis, and by training, I am a licensed clinical mental health counselor, and I have the pleasure of actually owning two businesses. The first business that I own is Still Family LLC, where we work and support individuals that have intellectual and developmental disabilities. And there I am the COO. And then also, as you see on the screen, I'm also the owner of Premier Counseling Professionals, where I provide counseling, coaching, and consultation to individuals, businesses, and groups.
Awesome. So two businesses. Awesome sauce. Love it, love it, love it. And you've got all kind of people up in here, and they're calling you Dr. Some.
So Sam is my actual maiden name. Davis is my married name.
Gotcha. Well, that's how they coming in with the maiden name. All in the chat. And listen, y'all tell us where you're chiming in from. We need to know. But she can't see y'all. She cannot see y'all. So let me know where you're chiming in from. Hello. All right, Miss Candace. The mic is yours, darling.
Good afternoon, everyone. Nishika, I just want to say thank you for just giving me this opportunity. You know, I am not a writer, but for you to kind of bring this to the forefront and allow me to express it in this way, I really do appreciate you. And then also just the women on the platform right now, just hearing what you're doing already. It's amazing. But I am Candace Dixon, and I am a licensed clinical mental health counselor with a supervisor licensure. And I am the CEO and owner of Breaking Cycles Counseling PLLC. We are located in Jamestown, but we do serve all of North Carolina, as that's where I am licensed. But we can do in person and virtual. um, services. So we do provide individual, family, couples counseling, and group as well. And just to put a real plug in, right now we are currently providing free mental health services through May 2026 to those to help with healing for children, adolescents, and young adults, especially with everything that is happening right now. We know that cost, price, insurance, all of that, all of those things are creating an issue. So therefore, we are putting that service out there as well. But thank you all for just being here and being able to listen to us. So I'm glad to be here.
All right. Wow. So I hope y'all heard that the freebie. Don't be so busy that you missed the freebie now. So we've got the folks chiming in from High Point, Greensboro. My husband is on. Hi, bye. And then Asheville, and I see Highway 85 South. What's up? So we got a lot of people on here that can help you get your mind right. And that was, listen, I did not, when I was reaching out to people, that was not the strategy. It was not the strategy, but this is just how God worked it out. And then we got somebody on here that can help you get your gear together with the creating stitches. And then what I'm going to do for you is to help you get your goals, your focus, and your vision together. So I am Nishika Melton. I'm the visionary of the project, as well as one of the authors. And I am someone who tried to live, I was basically surviving as overwhelmed, overworked, overextended while trying to be a mother and a wife and really running on fumes. And I have learned that success does not have to be categorized with those attributes, those deadly attributes. So what I do as a simplified productivity coach, and my business is also online and she does travel, the planes do work. I come in and I help you create your vision, create your goals that are aligned to your vision, as well as identify and discard the unproductive hats that do not benefit or pay you. So that's what I do as a coach. Now, we get Clayton. Hello, Clayton, North Carolina. We're about to get into some interviews. Now, I know we're live, and I know everybody has their thoughts and opinions. Okay. But ladies, I want y'all to tell your truth. Okay. This is your opportunity. This is a way for you to talk about your journey and where you are right now. All your questions are going to be different. So don't think you're going to hear her question before you and think you're going to have your answer. You're not. You're not. The questions are all different. So Candace Dixon,
Yes, ma'am.
whose husband is thoroughly supporting and probably trying to make sure I do his wife right on this live. I'm gonna do it right, Nick. I'm gonna do it right. Okay, so your thrust or your placement, whichever way it can be looked at, into entrepreneurship is actually going to resonate with a lot of people, especially right now because of the government shutdown. All these people that have been furloughed or lost their jobs and their income is he said that's right. Don't play with me, Nick. Their money is funny and their change is strange right now, to say the least. You were let go on the job that you were in at that time, and you talk about it in the book. So if y'all have not gotten a copy of the book, I'm gonna need you to get with the person who invited you and get your copy. And if you already have a copy, I'm gonna need you to go get 2 more and go bless 2 people. Okay. So you were let go from your job. Tell us as much as you want to, as much as you're comfortable with, what emotional and mental you were going through, like, I mean, roller coaster in it. What were you feeling? What were you thinking? What were you going through at that time?
Great question. So when I got the position, it was at a local organization, and this was actually my first position with a management role, right? Being able to oversee the services of other therapists, being able to oversee the program. And so at that time, most of the time when you get to a management role, you're like, oh yeah, I arrived now. They see me, right? And so you get there and it's already tension when you arrive. And then all of a sudden, COVID happens. And then, of course, you consider, okay, I am in this organization. We're still doing the work. I'm an essential worker. So we were still showing up for work. And the way that I was laid off was immediately. I was brought into, the office. Thank you for your work, but this is your last day here in this office. And I did not understand because, hey, we are essential workers. We are here to serve the people who are going through things, who are shut down, who are isolated, right? But because I had a management role, I did not have a caseload. Therefore, I was not making money for the company. And so that bothered me so much because you thought that money was more valuable than my worth and my skills and what I bring to the organization. You felt that money was going to help you with going through COVID and not necessarily being able to take me and say, hey, what can we do differently? So I was shut down. I felt worthless. I had to go home and tell my husband I didn't have a job. We had a younger child at the time. What are we going to do with money? What are we going to do? How we're going to survive? We got bills to pay. We got past bills to pay. We have taxes. Not only that, but what am I supposed to do now? Because everybody else over here is shut down. No one else is hiring. So really, I was stuck in a place of fear, and I was stuck in the place where I felt like nobody really understood. They understood what was happening, but they didn't understand the magnitude of how it really impacted my self-esteem and my confidence, especially when you think you've arrived. But being able to go through that really got my wheels turning. If people know who I am, I'm always thinking of what am I going to do now? How I'm going to get myself out of this situation. But it was definitely in fear. I even questioned God a couple of times. Just kind of wondering, I'm a good person, right? I'm a great person. I don't do anything wrong to people. I don't harm people. I support people. I motivate people. I'm kind in nature, right? And then why is this happening to me? And why is it happening to my family? So it really caused a rift in me mentally. And yeah, so I went through a lot through that.
So I want y'all to put in the chat, everybody that's listening, I want you to put in the chat, them jobs ain't loyal. And I want you to type it just like that. We're going ebonical. I'm bilingual. Okay. Put them jobs, DEM, them jobs ain't loyal, because we know that it happens to people. But when it happens to you, it hits differently because now it's your house and it's your family that's being impacted. Them jobs ain't loyal. That's what I tell the people. What? Them jobs ain't loyal. Yes. And everybody that puts it in there, you finna come across the screen, because yes, them jobs ain't loyal. What? So what made you, and I know your husband was uber supportive. I don't think I've ever seen him when he wasn't laughing or smiling. What made you take
the entrepreneurial road, because you could have done somebody else's 9 to 5. I mean, just keeping it 100% honest, you could have done that.
Yeah, I felt at that point I was giving people the permission to run my life, or the permission to direct me in the direction, and I wanted freedom. I wanted the freedom to choose whatever I wanted to do, however I wanted to do it, and not to depend on someone else being able to say yay or nay in my life. Freedom it is freeing, right? It allows you to be creative, and it allows you to really be your authentic self and not being under someone's expectations. You are in your own expectations. And when I feel that you're operating in your own expectations and in your freedom, you could be at your best in any way, area possible. And so being confined to someone else's standards and expectations, it holds you hostage. And I didn't want to be under hostage anymore. I didn't want people to be able to determine whether I work or not. I want to be able to answer that for myself.
Let me find my sounds over here. Hold on here. Yep. Nobody dictating all of that. All
Mhm.
that. Let me see what my husband say. He said, them jobs are loyal to their bottom line, not yours. Yeah, they're loyal to their bottom line, but
That
not
part.
about us. Absolutely. And
Mhm.
so how many years have you been in business, Candace?
So with my business, it has been three and a half years, actually. 3.5 years now. Granted, I registered my business name 2 years before I actually started. And that was just another layer of fear, that kept me from beginning when I registered my name. So yeah.
And I've heard you mention that fear word a few
Mhm.
times. I've heard you mention it a few times, and I'm just gonna send out just a question to all of the ladies, and you can give me a answer. You can give me a nod. Has fear played a part in you becoming an entrepreneur? Were there times when you were fearful to go on this journey of entrepreneurship, authors?
Absolutely. I would say when I transitioned from doing business at home to a
Mhm.
physical location,
Mm.
just, the fear of how I'm going to balance, both working full time as an educator and opening up a a full time really location. And how am I going to balance that? Are people going to, continue to come? How I'm going to work this? So absolutely, fear was definitely in the forefront.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Anybody else want to chime in
Oh,
on that?
sure.
Yes.
No, you go ahead.
I'm sorry. As a matter of fact, I'm battling that now. Because I represent the people who are still working the 9 to 5 because you can't let go yet. That's
Mhm.
where I'm at. And as you know, when you get to my whatever question you asked me, I will go a little bit deeper with even the things and how I wrote my chapter and why I wrote my chapter, because my chapter was written from that space of I'm not there yet, but I'm
Mhm.
showing you how you create this mindset to get there. So yes, I'm
Mhm.
battling that as we speak.
Mm,
Sure. And I was just going to add for me, fear wasn't about failure or the future. It was more so about fearing being in that same predicament that other people governed my life in terms of the decisions that were made. And so um, for me, it was really about choosing my heart. It was going to be hard to, definitely, strike out and be an entrepreneur, but it was going to be harder to have to be governed by the thoughts and decisions of other people that I may not have been in alignment with.
Right.
Mhm.
Exactly. And I would concur. Um, Dr. D, Keisha, we're still on the job. As we're doing this entrepreneurial journey, and I had to learn a long time ago that Fear and I, we don't like each other. So we really are not friends. And anytime I feel that kind of coming up, it's like, oh no, 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 you have no place here, because I'm trusting God, I'm believing God, and the chips are gonna fall where they may. I may not hit the $1 million mark this year, but if I'm doing things God's way and in his timing,
That's
then
right.
everything that I'm supposed to get, I'm gonna have, and he's gonna leave
Mhm.
room for more. And on that note, I'm gonna give myself an applause. Hello. Okay. Come on, y'all. We've been look, y'all thought I was getting real serious. We're gonna have a good time today. Look. And for everyone that is watching, I want you right now, if you have not subscribed, subscribe to this channel. And number two, I want you to reach out to your friend and say, listen, go ahead and send them the information. Y'all need to get on this live because we are having a good time. Tell them good, GOODT, good time on today. Yes, good time. All right. Now, Candace, I know eventually you're gonna have to slide off, but if you don't have to slide off yet, then definitely stay with us. Keisha, you come from a long legacy of entrepreneurs. Did you ever, and you talk about it in the book, and you got your pictures and everything, did you ever feel like you had to be an entrepreneur? Like, what was there ever pressure to say you have to have your own business because that's who your family is?
Absolutely not. I think it's just see, there was no pressure. My parents did not pressure me. They have always supported me. But there was no pressure to be like, oh, you're going to have your own business. No, it was just something that I saw. It was instilled in me. It's a part of my DNA. And I'm just very, in the book, I just really pay homage to, my parents, the foundation, what they instilled in me. And I'm just proud to be their daughter.
Oh, I love that. So tell us because you are an educator, and what grade do you teach?
So I'm no longer in the classroom. I'm a curriculum facilitator. And I
Okay,
work,
promotion go.
yes, and shout out to STEM Early College at North Carolina A&T, Aggie Pride. So yes, so I'm an educator, full-time educator during the day and full-time entrepreneur in the evening.
And so what brought you to the lane that you're in right now with this particular business of doing because you don't just do embroidery, but what brought you to this lane? Because it's a very unique space. It's a creative space.
So in my chapter, I actually talk about how my two worlds collided. And so there was a young lady that was working in the front office, and one Christmas, I had asked her to embroider some robes for me for some teachers. And so she did. And when they came back, they were absolutely beautiful. And so I started asking her questions like, how did you do it? How long did it take? Can you show me what to do? And I really just started it as a hobby for myself. So she took me under her wing. She took me to a store, a sewing shop right here in Greensboro. I think it was called McKinney's off of Battleground. She allowed me to basically, learn what she learned. And that's kind of how it all started. And then I just really started wearing things myself. I would embroider a couple of things and just wear. And so I became a walking billboard. And so the hobby then in turn came a business for me.
Awesome. And you are located, for those of you who are local, you're located in Friendly Shopping Center. So what stores are to the left and right of you?
So it's not Friendly Shopping Center. It's
Okay.
actually it's Guilford College. It's Friendly Avenue. So it's Friendly
Oh,
Avenue.
okay.
It's right across from Greensboro College. So it sits on the opposite side of the street. But it's 5719 West Friendly Avenue.
So is it in the space where the shopping area where the T-Mobile is?
So it's on a strip. It's actually inside of a building. And
Okay.
so it's Jam's Deli is on the corner. And then there's a Speedway gas station. So I sit in between those two businesses, and it's on a strip, but it's inside. You actually have to physically walk inside of the building, and I'm in
Gotcha.
one. Mm-hmm.
All right, so y'all pay attention, because not everybody knows cross streets and all that kind of stuff, but we know a building, especially when it's associated with food. So Jam's Deli and the gas station, because those are two places that you got to get gas and you got to eat. Pay attention to those landmarks, and you want to definitely make sure that you go in and support, because like I mentioned, you don't just do embroidery in your business. When did you start branching out, and what made you decide to do that?
So I love arts and crafts. I love working with my hands. And so really anything that I put my hands to is, I just try it and do it. And so that's how my customers, if they have an idea or a thought, we kind of come together and we collaborate, and we come up with the product. So it really just started again with the embroidery. And then after that, it was just trial and error of me trying different things. And so that's just kind of how the business progressed over the years. Actually, I started out with making, they were gumball machines. They looked like gumball machines, but they were out of clay pots. And so I really started that at my kitchen table in my condo. And then I started making tie blankets, no sew blankets. So I started making those and actually hand painting names on the blankets. And then, so the business really has just evolved over the years.
So knowing, because I know there may be several people either listening now or listening to the replay, which if you are listening to the replay, just be sure to type that into the comments so that we know. There have to be days when you come in from the job and your brain is like, I'm done. I'm tapping out. I don't know what you plan to do, but I'm getting ready to go rest. How do you keep pushing? What do you do? And these are multiple questions because my brain is firing off. Okay. So what do you do to make sure that, number one, you're maintaining safe balance or healthy balance for yourself, that you are not pushing yourself over the cliff while getting the things done for your business, while showing up like you need to for your job?
That's a great question. Some days, I'm gonna be honest, I will leave work, I will come home, I will walk my dog, I will take a shower, and I will put my bonnet on and I will get in the bed. Because sometimes that's just what I have to do. Because I need to, again, it's about balance. And so I have to have balance. And days that I don't feel like that I can do that, I will take that night off and I will just rest. And then the next day I will, I may hit it hard. I may stay up really, really late. I may get up early. I'm a early riser. So I will get up early in the morning before work to work. And then I will also spend nights, past 12 o'clock. It just depends on what I have to do, what I have to get done, orders that are coming in. And of course, now we're coming upon the holiday season. So it will be some longer days and some, longer nights and early mornings also. But I do try to definitely, as far as have balance, that's one of the things that, I try to have, take priority in.
Mhm. Now, this question is for everybody. So when you were writing your chapter or trying to figure out what to write for your chapter, were there parts that made you a little sad? Were there parts that made you cry, whether it was tears of joy or tears in the other direction? Were there parts that you started congratulating yourself because you said, I did that? And I want everybody to answer that question. So Keisha, you go first, and then we'll do Dr. Sharice and Dr. D.
To be honest, I felt a lot of different emotions.
Okay. Give me
yeah.
all of them, girl.
I mean, starting out, so with my chapter, again, it's a really a homage to to the past, the present, and the future. Because I talk about my parents as being my foundation. I talk about the present of, me kind of working the business and, working full time and how I came in. So I'm giving you from start to finish, really. And so, but also paying homage and to my niece and my nephew, because, they are the future, and I want to also leave a legacy. So in that, the emotions were, I was proud, you know what I mean? I get to share, my story. There was moments of, fear or sadness, again, moving from out of the home to this, physical location, maybe thinking about money and finances and how that was all going to work together. But, also just surrendering my life, this business, and putting all my cares, really to the Lord. And so, it was just a lot of emotions. I'm so thankful for the opportunity. And, I'm just grateful at the fact that I get to share my story.
All right.
I think for me, I did have a wide range of emotions, but I think the two that stand out most for me is just compassion. I had a lot of compassion for myself. I don't think that during the journey, I was acknowledging all of the things that were happening to me because, you certainly can't grow, without challenges. And so for me, I was busy doing and not necessarily reflecting in those particular moments when those things were happening. But I think for me, gratitude was the emotion that I felt the most, and that was simply because, my parents. I did mention them in my book. I just labeled them as my social promoters because they, my mother had a way of making me believe that I could do anything while my father had convinced me that I was already doing it. And so, definitely for me, it was gratitude for my parents. And, in the book, I also talk about during this time of transition and all of these things happening, while I was an entrepreneur, I was also diagnosed with cancer. And so what I will say is that, in the first 10 years of my marriage, I didn't work 3 years of the times that, in my marriage. And then I also was diagnosed with cancer. And so, very grateful for my husband. He's just a very understanding person that is just really about what is it that I need to do to get this fixed. And so for me, didn't have any of those. So, all the while, just definitely, gratitude. Even like today, it's one thing to think people love and care about you. It's a whole nother thing to experience it. And so for me, even through all of the trials, in my chapter, there was always a person that was present that turned the tides. And with my people saying shout out Spring 91, definitely my line sisters, my sorority, everybody at that time just kind of came to. And so even though there were a lot of challenges for me with a lot of emotions, I just think that gratitude was certainly the biggest emotion that I experienced.
All right. And Dr. D.
Wow, how do you follow both of you? Yeah, right. It's just amazing. I just love to hear them. No, but for me, oh my God, emotions. Let's talk about it. First of all, after I wrote I didn't even know what to write about. I'm going to be honest, because you think entrepreneurship, you're thinking, oh, these rich people who are just like rolling in the dough and blah, blah. And then I was like, where do I come into this? But then that's when I realized that they had to start from somewhere. I spoke to my dad, and my dad kept saying to me, he was like, but all of those started with a thought. And then that's when I was like, why? What you just said was so simple. So that's when I took it and ran with it. And I was like, okay, well, let me just write from what I've been through and how everything I've been through and the setbacks and jumping over hurdles and dropping out of school and going back to school. And, it hit me, and I was just like, but that's building these blocks, these resilient blocks, this mindset of an entrepreneur. It had to start from somewhere, whether it's the resilience to keep pushing, whether it's of trying not to jump over those hurdles, to have the fear, whatever it is. All of those came back rushing as I'm writing this. So every time I realized that I wrote about another accomplishment, then another accomplishment, I was like, oh my God, is that me? And when I sat back and I was like, oh, okay, that's me, I started crying. I was like, I can't believe, because I've written a dissertation, but that's nothing compared to you writing about something. Because you know what? I'm from Kingston, Jamaica. And when you grow up in Jamaica and you grow up on an island, you can't talk your business. You have to keep it to yourself in your household. You can't. So that was another layer of fear for me, because now I'm just like, oh my God, I'm about to put myself out there. Am I embarrassing stuff like that? So it really had a lot of emotions, even writing that. As a matter of fact, there were a lot of things that I deleted from the fear of just even having that out there. And it wasn't anything bad. It's just me always being in the background and helping. So now I'm in the forefront, and it's kind of hard, and I don't know how to deal with that. And for that reason, I had a lot of emotions with that: joy, fear, sadness, just everything wrapped up in one. Because you don't know how people are going to perceive your life, your story. So for somebody to say, I don't really like it, then I'm going to say, so you don't like my story? You don't like me? So it's all of those things. And for those, so those were the emotions that were going through my head when I was writing the chapter.
So we're going to give an applause to all the supporting spouses and parents and everybody that showed up. And Dr. Price had actually put a question in the chat and said, Dr. D, are you from Jamaica? So now you have your question answered. Yes, she is. I was going to save that. Oh, they said true that. Wait a minute. They saying big up Jamaica. So are you Dr. Price?
Big up Jamaica. Big it up.
Tell the people in the chat. I'm waiting for Dr. Price to respond. But when God gave me this project, I know what they say yes, man. Okay, then. I have to do the country Jamaican accent. I don't know if that's a thing, but I feel like it works. I know when I was writing, and Dr. Price, if you don't stop interrupting me, Dr. Price is from Kingston, Jamaica. Oh, look at y'all. Let me highlight you, Dr. Price, because you in the chat showing out. Okay.
Yes, Dr. Price. Yes. Sorry, I just had to do that.
No problem. No problem. I love it. And I love the interaction. That's what I'm wanting. Y'all light the chat up because as you can see, I'm watching it. I know that I was going through a whirlwind of emotions when I was writing my chapter. And just like you, Dr. D, there was some stuff that I deleted because I didn't know if I was ready to talk about all of that yet, even if other people were willing to embrace it. It's like, and maybe everybody can relate to a certain degree. There's one part of you that wants to get it out. And yes, you have an emotion about it, but I don't want you come and feeling sorry for me and with the woo 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 and all of that. Didn't want that. Did not want that. And so I did a lot of deleting. A lot of deleting. And Dr. Sharice, is your husband named Marlon?
Yes.
Okay, because he say your husband is in the house. That's what he put in the chat. So let me go ahead and highlight him because the husbands are showing up and showing out. Yes. So I appreciate you ladies being willing to be transparent. And it was always what you felt comfortable in doing. But when I read your chapters, I was like, this book is going to help some people because there are folk who they think, just like you had mentioned, Dr. D, entrepreneur. If you say you're an entrepreneur, you got to be at a certain monetary level. And if you're not, you're a failure. Or, Keisha, they don't want to admit that sometimes they just want to come home, walk the dog, put their bonnet on and go to bed. Okay. I don't know if you said take a shower, but ain't nobody gonna be mad if you don't. Because you just that kind of spent. And then Dr. Sharice to have so many comebacks in regards to the diagnosis of cancer, overcoming the cancer, getting your doctorate, all these different things. This is a question for everybody because the more I talk, the more questions come to my head. And then I'm going to get Dr. Sharice and Dr. D. Was there ever a point in your life where you felt like the mountain was just too hard to climb? For everybody.
May I start?
Sure.
Funny enough, I'm going to answer your question. I've never have I felt defeated? Yes.
Mm-hmm.
But with my faith and how I was raised, I've never seen a mountain that was too high. I knew I was going to get over there. I just didn't know how. I didn't know how long it was going to take me. Yeah. I was always the friend that took longer than everybody else. But the point is I always had such an amazing support system that they were like, girl, it's awesome over here. Come on, you got this. Come on, you got this. So yeah, I would have to say I've never seen a mountain, but I felt defeated. Even writing the book, I felt defeated. And even to add another layer of fear, I don't know if anybody can attest to this, but I'm very close to my parents. I know it sounds a little weird, but I'm very close to them and they'll read the book. So that fear of putting certain things that maybe I have not shared, I haven't shared with them, and I wouldn't want them to find out that way. I mean, I share everything with my family, but you just never know. It might be this one thing that they end up saying, and because I don't, as we're sitting here on this transparent platform, I don't want my parents. This is my mindset. I don't want my parents to feel like they failed at anything. I don't want them to feel so. Because of that, I carry that. So that's another reason why my little stubby finger was moving at delete with a lot of things, because I just felt as though I know my truth is my truth, but I don't want to hurt the people around me. And it might not be anything personal to them. It will just be indirect. and I wouldn't want that, or my friends that would know definitely this is the situation. Oh, I didn't know this is the part I played. I might not have played, stuff like that. So I know I veered off a little bit. I wanted to answer that earlier. That's why I put that in there. But yes, no mountain for me, because it can't beat me.
That's right. Come on with it. Dr. Sharice?
Sure. For me, the answer is also no. I just think that, with life, you have peaks and valleys. And so the goal is always to, try to reach the peak, even though we're not going to stay there. And I think part of it is, just my upbringing, my faith, and just because I've always had people to support me, there's just not a thought process of there's something that can't be done because it can be learned. And so, having that, I just think that, with every mountain that, you may not be able to go up straight, but there's a varying way that you can, whether it's walking around it, doing whatever it is that you need to do, but
Right.
definitely achieving whatever you are intending to do.
So you may not be able to go up straight, honey, but you can go up. Come on now. Keisha, what about you?
I think in life, you're going to have mountains. You're going to have obstacles and things that you're going to have to, to climb, or, you might again see the fear. But no, there's never been a moment where, I wanted to quit or wanted to give up, or that I was going to just stop this journey. No, again, my father, I'm going to talk about him for just a second. When he puts his mind to something, that's it. Like, he's going hard and he is going to accomplish it. And I think I get a lot of that from him. So if I set out to do something, even if it is a mountain, or even if it's something hard to do, I'm still going to be committed. And I'm going to stick with it. Because again, I know where my help and my faith comes from.
Let me get my applause going right here. That's right. Okay, so then let me say this, because I know that for the people listening, that there are times, there are moments where you feel defeated, and I'm going to go on record, because this is being aired on my podcast channel, and it's going to be there forever, as long as they're YouTube. There was a time before I would say before I became, I was a tripreneur, so I was trying different things, but before I became fully an entrepreneur, really having the plan and whatnot, and before I really had myself rooted and grounded in God, that I did feel like I can't climb this mountain. Y'all can have the mountain, the trees, the dirt that is in. Y'all can take it all. I'm going back to the house. That's where I was at one moment, and it took God to pull me out of that, to remind me and really ask me, are you truly mine? Do you really believe, and are you willing to stop doing things your way, which obviously does not work. It does not work ever, and do it my way. So for those of you that you have hit that wall and you are throwing up your hands and you're saying, forget all of this, y'all can have it, I don't want it. Let me encourage you that if you know God has called you to a thing, then he will take you through it. I promise you. It doesn't mean that the journey is going to be easy. Like Dr. Sharice said, you may not be able to go up the mountain straight. It may be a little zigzag, going. You may have to walk around it. Sometimes you got to sit down because you're tired and your feet hurt. Sometimes you just have to come home and put your bonnet on and go to bed. I don't know. But I would tell you, change your perspective And for those of you who can put it in the chat right now, I want you to type into the chat that there is no failure in God. There is no failure in God. Okay. And just so everybody's clear, because I like to point this out to people, because people say God, and we ain't talking about the same one. I'm talking about the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. Okay. Who had his only begotten son named Jesus Christ, Yeshua Messiah. Let's be real clear. I wish I had a bell so I could ting, ting, ting it. Let's be real clear on the one we talking about. Okay. Because people like to throw God, and we ain't talking about the same one. Okay. So, hello. There is no failure in God, and that's on period. So do not give up. Change your perspective. That mountain was meant for you to not only take over and climb, but to conquer. Okay. Now, let me see who we're gonna go with next, because I got so many questions for everybody. Dr. Sharice. Dr. Sharice, your chapter is called Anchored in Your Why. What do you say to that? And I want you to be candid, because you have a very calming voice, very soothing therapist voice that says that you don't really get cross with anyone. And if you do, you say it in a nice way. You say it with a smile, and I've not learned to do that yet. I don't know how to do that.
Yeah, it
I
depends on
ain't
the
gonna tell
day.
your husband to tell on you though, but if he want to drop something in the chat and let the people know, we're here for it. So what do you say to the person whose why seems to change every year?
Mhm. Examine it and reflect it. There's no bad idea, no bad direction. It just has to be something that you think through. So when we're talking about be anchored in your why is what gives you clarity in terms of what it is that you want to do. And so when you get stuck, assess it. You assess it, you make a plan, you implement the plan and evaluate if it worked or if it didn't work. I would just continue to say, if you get stuck, go back to the drawing board and keep examining it. Talk to trusted friends who you have a listening ear, who mean you well. They're going to give you good guidance. Certainly pray about it. There's a lot of different things that you can do, but from the business sense, I would say certainly evaluate, continue to reflect, and just keep trying.
So, and I'm going to ask this of everybody. Dr. Sharice, what is your why? Why do you do what you do?
So for me, I've always liked to help people. I've never done anything outside of, prior to being a counselor, I worked in therapeutic recreation. I've always worked with special populations or those in society that we would consider vulnerable. So that's always been my thing per se. But when we talk about my why, I was working for the local government, and I was working for the local government in terms of the mental health center. And they came to us and said that they were divesting. And out of 105%, the employees were going to have 5% of the vote of where they got to go in terms of the new company. So that was my why. Prior to that, I had older parents who the thought was you get a good job, you work at that good job, you retire from that good job with your good benefits, but society no longer worked that way. And so it was then that I knew that I needed to identify what was I going to do in terms of making good decisions about how I wanted to govern my life and how I wanted to move forward.
And Keisha, what would you say your why is?
I would say legacy.
Mm.
in my chapter, I talk about building a legacy. And so something that outlives me, something that will continue on long after I'm gone. So legacy.
And that makes so much sense. It makes so much sense. Dr. Dr. D, what is your why? And I know you're gonna say your children, girl, because you them babies, honey. I know, but go ahead.
Okay, we're gonna so that's my second why. No, but really my first, to be honest with you, is because I just wanted to become what I was searching for, that resource. Just somebody who understood my mind, who understood why I decided to shut down maybe for 2 months and then I pop back up like nothing happened. I just wanted somebody to and when you have somebody like that and that mind, I wanted somebody to be there that would help me get through, because although I did have that mindset and shutting down and popping up and it's so inconsistent, I still wanted to finish my stuff. I still wanted to succeed. I just didn't know how. I didn't know how to go about it. So that's my why, was to become that person for somebody else, so that the next person jumping around like me, I can say, hey, I jumped too. How are we gonna jump? We'll jump together, and then when we're finished, I'll figure out how to move on, like, so that was my why. Awesome. And then my kids.
Yeah, I know them babies. So Dr. Sharice, you use the word, because I'm a wordsmith. You use the word anchored.
Mm-hmm.
Anchored, be anchored in your what does that mean, to be anchored in your why?
Sure. So for me, being anchored in, can you hear me? Okay. So for me,
let's see if we can. Okay, are y'all back? Can y'all hear me? Okay.
Yes.
All right, go ahead, Dr. Sharice.
Sure. So for me, being anchored is just thinking like if you are on a ship, the anchor is the thing that keeps you steady. It keeps you grounded. And so when we talk about be anchored in your why, it's just almost like setting a boundary. You can't set a boundary if you're not self-aware to know what your deal breakers are. So when you're anchored in your why, you have an understanding of what motivates you, why you're moving forward, or why you're not doing something. And so when you're anchored, for me, it just means that you understand and you're confident in your reasoning as to why it is you're doing something that you're doing.
So what was the process? Because what I'm hearing is you really have to know yourself and be honest with yourself. What was the process that you went through to know Sharice, to be able to create those boundaries and create that why?
I think it is part of my personality. I think it is how I was raised. I always tell people that my mother was a rapper before rapping was a thing. She had all of these sayings and different things that added to my life in a way that it dictated my perspective, how I saw things, how I examined things. And so my level of self-awareness came through knowing what was important to me, what I liked, what I didn't like. My self-awareness came from, I must admit, I believe that I have the dopest village ever, right? And so because of that, there were always people around me that are truth tellers. They, if I was going too far, they'd be like, hey, and pull me back in. And so I knew personally what was important to me, what I liked, what I didn't like, but I also have people around me that guide me, lead me, and support me in all the ways that I need to be supported.
And do you feel like since the time that you've been a child until now that you have had that consistently, that there's not been any gaps in your life? Or were there any moments that even though you're surrounded by all these people that you felt alone?
You would probably have to ask the people that have been around me and know me. personality is definitely it can be turned up. I know you talked about my quiet and calming voice, but
Yes.
again, that depends on the day and who you ask, right? Because everybody
Oh,
experiences me differently, right? It depends on your interaction with me. And so I think for me, it's really truly about I think I was just very fortunate in my parents always instilled in me lots of different things. And so I didn't know about the world, but I know who I was. And so that
mhm.
has something that has always been. So for me, peer pressure wasn't a thing because I already knew what I liked, what I didn't like, and I knew what I wasn't going to do.
You said peer pressure was not a thing. That child, we could do it. We could do a whole podcast interview on that right there. So, what advice do you have for not just the budding entrepreneur, but the person who has been in business for 3 years, 5 years, with the confidence that you have, and maybe they don't have it or they lost it? What advice do you have for them, um, that would help them see things from a different perspective, that would help them see that mountain as something that they can get over or go around? What would be your advice?
Mhm. I think doing some soul searching, definitely, because again, I think self awareness is the baseline that we need to come from. Because when you know yourself, then your decisions are going to be based on what you think, how you feel, what experiences you've had, and so um, in terms of advice, definitely be self aware. Um,
Mhm.
be a lifelong learner. Lots of things I've learned, outside of the people that I surround myself with, are is through reading. I love reading, learning something new every day. So definitely um, read to expose yourself to the things that are important. And when you talk about confidence, I don't know anybody that hasn't had some level of success. Trace back what you've done to be successful in that particular moment. Or even, sometimes we're not as gentle with ourselves as we are with other people. And so part of it is, giving some compassion to yourself, for the things that you might be lacking, knowing that developing in your mindset that you can achieve this. You just have to figure out under what circumstances and know that your journey is not going to be like someone else's.
Yeah, all of that. All of that. So what I want y'all to put in the chat is, I give myself grace. I give myself grace, because we can all attest that we have not crossed every T or dotted every I on this journey. Mistakes have been made because there were things that we had to learn. So you have to give yourself grace. You have to do that soul searching. And while you may feel in that moment that the mistake that you made was monumental, the earth is still revolving. Everything's still here. So it wasn't that big. So give yourself grace and give yourself permission to keep going and keep moving, so that you can be anchored in your why. Yes, I give myself grace. Y'all know I'm finna put y'all on the screen. Yes, I give myself grace. Always, always, always. So, Dr. D, you talk about in the book partial blindness. And when if a person, if you don't bring it up, people don't know. Okay, because you moving and shaking like everything is copacetic. You were not born blind. That came up on you. So if you can talk about how that initially impacted you to have that come up on you like that, what you had to do to shift, okay, when it happened, and then how you maneuvered to get where you are today.
Okay, well, as a matter of fact, my right eye just went completely blind, like just 8 years ago. And it actually happened literally as I started my dissertation. Whoop-de-doo, right? So I'm typing with a patch in my eye. I had 3 surgeries. I did not stop one time. It actually took me 10 years to do a PhD in public health because it was so much going on. It was the ADHD, whether it was the ADHD shutting down and throwing laptop and not typing for 3 months, whether it was having a surgery, 3 surgeries on my eye. And even before even getting to my PhD, when I was doing my bachelor's, I had a freak accident. I had surgery on my arm as well too. And at that time I was in a sling. So I became ambidextrous because I was not about to come to a whole different country and not finish this degree. That wasn't working. That wasn't happening. So I figured it out. So I had on a sling, typing, writing, had on a patch, typing, writing. It didn't matter. That did not stop me. As a matter of fact, my aunt said to me, "Did you read the book of Job?" I think one time in 8 years, I'll give it twice in 8 years I've cried since I got this diagnosis. Well, not diagnosis because it was just something that happened, and it was something. I had an accident when I was a child, and eventually over time, this is the result. But I had to pivot. I knew that it was something that I had to do, and I just had to kind of figure out how to make it work. I don't see on my right side, so I just know I have to turn my whole head. It's just simple things that you have, because after I read the book of Job and realized how much he lost and how much he gained, I never looked at my eye. I know I looked at my eye differently. I didn't look at it as a hindrance. I looked at it as something that God has given me, and I just have to learn to work through it. Whether you have an accident, whether it's something that happened in your family or to yourself or whatever, something happens every day. And you can't get bogged down or be broken by that. You have to find a way to just add it. It's now a piece of you. You have to find a way to add that and to now figure out how to move with your added, with your new addition. And that's what I did. So that's why I made sure that I wrote that in my book to show people, look, I'm regular, as they would say. Things happen, but I'm not going to stop. So I don't see why you should stop. I mean, there's so many things that you could be doing. I mean, who wants to be a bum, right? I mean, it might be a little easier, but still, who wants to sit like that? So I had to change that mindset and realize that I'm not going to be defeated. I have to make this work. I don't know how. I'm going to keep saying that because, guys, that's the truth. A lot of things for me, I don't know how. I don't know where to start. I don't know how to start, but that's where your village come in. That's where other people come in. You shouldn't feel bad there's no stupid question. And guess what? If the person thinks that it's a stupid question, it's not even the person that needs to help you anyway. Who wants that kind of help? You want somebody who's able to say, I've been there. I've done that. So that's why I had to pivot and kind of understand that now I am that for somebody else. I'm now that for somebody who's blind or partially blind and needs to, I've just become that. And until I understood that becoming that was okay, here we are.
And that, ladies and gentlemen, was a mic drop moment. So you said 10 years. It took you 10 years, and you had to learn to write and type with your other hand.
Mm-hmm.
So for you, and I wonder how your kids, how they do, because for you there are no excuses. Like you can do it. It may take you longer, but don't tell me that you can't. So do your children already know that word "can't" is not allowed in this house?
Oh yeah, they don't. Yeah, they don't
play them kind of games.
No, we don't play them kind of games. If my child is sitting there and they say to me, oh, mom, I have to do, but I don't. Because they know the kind of mother they have. As a matter of fact, if I say certain things to them, they would be like, yes, mom, we know. But you know, so even my kids asked me, they were like, do I have to get a PhD because you have one? And I told them no. I just want you to do good. I just want you to be who you are. I'm here to support you. You don't have to be your mom. But yeah, they realized that and they also realized that, oh, mom, since mom went blind, she hasn't skipped a beat, because as a matter of fact, the running joke in my house is that they'd be like, we don't even remember you're blind. And they're serious. Yeah, because they said that they would laugh, we would laugh about it, and they're like, mom, you don't even move like somebody who's blind. I said, well, what do you think a blind person move with? Just somebody go like this with a cane? That's not all. Everybody
Right.
still can. And I had to explain to people that when you're talking about blindness, remember there's legally blind, partial blindness. Some people can actually still see, it's just legally they're blind, you know. So but yeah, we've learned how to maneuver and to figure out how to make it work, and to also spread the message to people that you are somebody as well, just because you have all these defaults and defects as you would think. Because that's what some people are saying is, oh, I'm so defaulty. No, you're not. That's just what God gave you. It's just a little scratch. What's the problem with that? You're still watching the TV, don't you?
Right.
Where you still watch it, right? You're still using the bike that you had back in the days. Your car ain't brand new anymore. You're still driving it and still taking it from point A to point B, right? So you can still do what you have to do.
Your statement triggered another question that I want to ask everybody, because you've encouraged your children that they don't have to be like you. They don't have to compare themselves to you and say, I have to do that. And in this, not just being entrepreneurs, but on this just road of life, we are inundated with comparisons. We see it on social media all the time. For each of you ladies, how do you or have you successfully learned how to not allow yourself to go into that comparison mode where you're comparing yourself to somebody else, or you're comparing their year 10 to your year 5 and saying, well, why am I not there? And have you learned how to not do that? That's right. We'll go with you first, Dr. D, then Keisha, and then
Yes,
Dr.
ma'am.
Sharice.
Can you say one more time the last? Just how
Yes.
do you? Just
Ha-
one more time.
Have you learned how to not compare yourself to other people?
As a grown woman, yes. As a child, no. I come from a compared kind of environment. And I know Dot, who's on here, who's also from Kingsley, you can attest back in the days. I mean, you have exams, which are printed in a paper, by the way, that everybody can see. I don't know if they still do it now. But can you imagine taking an exam to see what high school you go to, and you're all in the paper? So if you don't make the paper, everybody know you just didn't pass.
Oh, wow.
So that's the environment I came from, which, by the way, I love Jamaica. I love being Jamaican. Let me put that out there, but we're being transparent. So because of that, it took me a while to learn how not to compare, because you're looking at your counterparts who are now becoming doctors quicker, or they're becoming lawyers at 23, and I'm still trying to figure out what's going on. And, you know, so as I got older and tried to understand Dr. Fry, and as I got older and learned to love myself more and to understand that everybody's journey is different, until I understood that, which, by the way, until I became an adult. And when I mean an adult, let's just say within 35, 40, recently. So guys, I just want you guys to know that if it is that you're still battling with it, it's okay. As long as you know that the journey is not for the weak, just keep pushing, because I've just learned that. I just learned it.
Wow. I thank you for your honesty. Keisha, what about you?
I think that it's easy to kind of compare yourself with people sometimes, just, you know, with social media and things of that nature. But there is something that I actually put in my book, and it's what I learned through entrepreneurship. So it says, through entrepreneurship, I have learned to surrender. it has taught me to stop striving for validation and instead boldly walking in obedience to the calling of God that has placed on my life. It has taught me to break free from people pleasing, to stand firm in my purpose, and to be unapologetically me. So, yes, I just feel like everybody has a purpose and a calling in life. And if you stay or you travel your lane, then you don't have to worry about everybody else.
I know that's doggone right. Dr. Sharice, what about you?
I think that comparison is a natural thing. And it's not even that you comparing yourself because you want what they have, but you envision a belief system of, oh, if they have something, you may want that same thing. For me, I think comparison was always something that other people did, and it was something that I experienced, but not necessarily initiated by myself because other people were busy doing it. And as an entrepreneur, I just think that I was so busy trying to be successful, or what I deemed to be successful, I didn't really have time to like listen to the white noise or compare what everybody else was doing because I was just busy, engaged in the moment of doing.
Well, thank you, ladies, so much, because there are, and I want to say, Dr. Sharice, I appreciate the different perspective. There are some unhealthy comparative behavior where you look at yourself as less than because you don't have what you see other people have, or you're not as far as along as other people are. And then when you can have that healthy perspective and say, okay, this is the vision, this is where I envision myself, and then create those healthy steps and boundaries to get there. But understanding that, don't, and this is for everybody listening, don't be trying to measure yourself about what these folks show on social media when they leaning up against rented cars, and sometimes the cars ain't even theirs, and they standing in front of somebody's house hoping that the dogs don't get called on them because they taking pictures in front of somebody else's house. Please don't get caught up in the shenanigans. And then Dr. D, just one more question for you. You mentioned in the book that you came to America from Jamaica. You had a little bit of money. I think you said 2 suitcases. What made you want to even come to America?
Okay, well, let me just put it out there. My family lived in the Bronx, so I've never actually spent summers in Jamaica. All of my whole first 18 years of my life, every summer, every summer. So my grandmother had two kids, and my mom stayed and my aunt left. All my other cousins were born here in America, in the Bronx.
Okay.
So because of that, it wasn't about trying to come to find something. It was because this is what I was used to. And I figured it would be natural for me just to transition being here because that's what I knew. And then my grandmother and my aunts and cousins moved to Georgia. So I'm like, hey, I'm coming. I'm just going to do college here because after high school, I left. After I left high school and left Jamaica, I went to Venezuela and I lived there for a year on an exchange program that they had in Jamaica. And then I came to America. So it was just a natural thing for me. So I wanted to just start by putting that out there that I wasn't seeking anything. It was just my family was here. So I said, I'm coming. They were just waiting for me to graduate. That's naturally how that works. Yeah. So depending on when you're from the islands, if you have family here, you were already visiting and you already knew that school was going to be here. As an islander, it just depends on if you're going back when you're finished. And by then you've already met people. You've already started your family like me. So, we're here. But yeah, but I will answer that other part though. That's number one. But I did also, there are things and resources and opportunities that I wouldn't get in Jamaica. Back then I wanted to do like forensic psychology and stuff, and I knew that wasn't something that too big there. So that's another reason why I came here. And I just wanted to just do something different. I mean, I grew up well in Jamaica. Like I grew up well. There was nothing that I wasn't doing. There was nothing that my parents, but for some strange reason, I just kind of wanted to not have to be in the spotlight because my parents were in the spotlight. My dad was the GM for one of the biggest petchem oil company. My mom was one of the, everybody knew her in sports. She travels with the track team. She was running the National Netball Association. So my family was like well known. So I wanted to run away from that. And I wanted to now put on my sneakers. I wanted to put on Jordans instead of heels. Every day I wanted to put on my, my Air Force Ones. Like that's real. That's really why I came here. I wanted to just be me and just figure out who I was instead of having to not say what I want to say, having to dress a certain way. You can't repeat clothes because you're going to be in the limelight, or you have to be making speeches for your dad, or, stuff like that. So I was trying to get away from that and kind of simmer. So that's why I came here. So I wanted to give all that backstory. I didn't want people to think, oh, I came here because I was trying to search for a bit of life. No, I was just trying to get away and figure out stuff and find myself, because I could have stayed home if I wanted to.
Right. You were trying to hide, and look at you all in the limelight. It didn't work.
And that's the reason why I said in
work.
the book earlier. Exactly. And that's the reason why I said I wanted to be, I wanted to stay back there. I just didn't want to be here. But, if God is calling me for something and I have a purpose, if I want to be that or be her, that resource, I have to put myself up there. It's a little nerve-wracking though, but it's when I see you women talking and just knowing that I'm not the only one feeling this way, it's amazing. So thank you for all of this, because this gives me like a little extra push, even if it's tomorrow, to wake up to be like, oh baby, we about to, something. I'm telling you, like, this is giving me that energy. So thank you. Okay.
And you're more than welcome. So what I want to do now, as we get ready to wrap it up, because I was going to go to commercial a while ago, but the conversation was just so good, and Dr. Price was lighting up the chat and all that kind of stuff. I want to give you ladies an opportunity. If there is a part in the book, in your chapter, that you want to highlight, point out, if there's advice that you want to give, whatever your parting words are, I want you to do that now. Those of you that are, or get those thoughts together in your mind, find your place in your chapter. If you want to quote from the book, those of you that are watching, if you have questions for the authors, I may take one or two. I do want to respect everybody's time. You can put those in the chat. If you have not subscribed to this channel, I want you to do it when, not now, but right now. I want you to do it right now, because every Tuesday at 7 p.m. Eastern Time, I am doing the Minding My Business Mic Drop podcast. And the energy is there. The interviews are there, and I'm going to be interviewing each one of these authors individually. So you're going to get even more time with them on the podcast. So make sure you have subscribed so that you know when we go live. Now, let's see who wants to go first. I'll let you choose. No, nobody.
I'll go.
Okay, Keisha, go ahead. The mic is yours.
So as we close out, just want to give on the very last page of my chapter, just want to talk about, since the book is talking about breaking free. And so this is kind of what I made mention of. It says, breaking free wasn't just about starting a business. It's about freeing myself from limitations, fears, false narratives. It's about choosing purpose over popularity, faith over fear, and calling over comfort. So that would be just my last words.
They need to put some snaps on this doggone thing. Because you said calling over comfort. Lord have mercy. I love that. I love that. Thank you. And who wants to go next?
So I just wanted to read something from the chapter as well. It says, entrepreneurship didn't come easy. I wasn't making six figures, not yet. I didn't have a massive following or a fancy business degree, but what I did have were tools that sharpened my adversity, a deep well of resilience, a work ethic that didn't flinch, and a voice that could not reach people where they were. I had to learn on the go how to structure my services, how to market myself, how to believe in my worth and charge for my value. I had to break out of the employee mindset and step into the entrepreneur mindset, which required more than confidence. It required clarity. Clarity about who I was, clarity about who I served, and clarity about what I offered that no one else could. So people need to understand, find your niche. There's something that you offer to somebody. Don't think that what you have, don't sit on it. There is something somebody out there that needs what you have. And that's why you need to check me out on adultsmanagingadhd.com, because there you can come to me and we will sit down and personalize something for you that would help to create a tool that works for your mind. Doesn't matter how many years, we'll figure it out. Thank you.
adultsmanagingadhd.com. So
and I have a free masterclass on there too. Sorry.
So now
I have a free masterclass on there too, guys. You want to take note of that?
Y'all like free 99 now. You love free 99. If you've got someone that is dealing with ADHD, you need to go ahead and get in on that website. I'm putting it on the screen now. There does not have to be any shame. And Keisha, what is your website? And I'll put that on the screen as well.
Yes, www.creatingstitches.com. And that is KREATN. And then it's stitches.com.
And y'all know we some creative folk, okay? Create with a K. All right. Creating Stitches. Not embroideries are us. Okay. That's not it. It's Creating Stitches. Okay. .com. These ladies and Dr. Sharice, I'm gonna get to you next. Everybody's website is going to be in the comments so that you are able to connect with them even after the podcast. So when I say in the comments, it's not just going to be in the chat, but below the description of the video, I'm going to put their websites there as well as their contact information so that you are able to connect with them if you need their services. So Dr. Sharice, what would you like to leave the people with?
First, everybody, thank you guys so much for an enriching afternoon. It was truly great, and I can't see my village, but I know you are out there. So thank you guys so much for spending this time with me this afternoon. And I just want to say that, when you are seeking out entrepreneurship, know that you're going to have to deal with people. And so my mom always said, you have to accept people for who they are and not what you want them to be. And so because of that, you have to realize that at times you might be violated or your trust might be broken. And so for me, because I had some of those challenges in my journey, I indicated in my book, what I realized was that I have learned some very valuable lessons. Judge people by their patterns and not by their potential. Red flags mean stop, not pause. The desire to have money compromises others' integrity, and character is revealed during challenging times.
So I want everybody to put in the chat, because I know there's some grown folks still learning this. Red flag means stop, not pause. Red flag means stop, not hard. That's a whole podcast right there, honey. So, Dr. Sharice, what is your website or the best way that the people can get in contact with you?
Sure. It's pcpresponds.com.
pcpresponds.com. And we've got that. Oh, yeah, yeah. Y'all putting it in the chat. Red flag means stop, not pause. I'm going to take these nuggets with you on this afternoon. Take these nuggets with you. So I want to thank you, ladies, so much for spending this little bit over an hour and a half. I am so honored to have you in my first collaboration book. I appreciate your transparency because you represent so many people out in this world. And I know this book is going to change lives. So those of you that are listening, if you did not hear me before, let me tell it to you again in case you want and okay. This is the book. All right. If you have ordered the book, I want you to go back to the person who invited you and get 2 more. Why? Because you need to go and bless somebody. They need to hear this and get encouraged. Get encouraged. And this book is going to do that. Now, D Swain, who is your cousin? D Swain. Who is your cousin?
I'm his cousin.
How did I know that? How did I know that? Because, girl, your people on here loud. You hear me? Listen, I got family in Detroit too. Yeah, look, village is real. It is not imagination. Okay? Because somebody put up in here, Winston-Salem State University is on or something they said. I think I showcased
I am a Ram. I am a Ram.
Yeah, I know you are. I know who they was coming for. But we all got to feel the love. Hey. So listen, if you, and I am just publicly announcing this because normally I do my publishing work behind the scenes. Okay. If you are someone who is interested, yes, we do. Hello. That's my people right there. Let me flip. So if you are someone interested in writing a book, whether it is a solo book or you've got a group that wants to do a collaboration, I definitely want you to reach out. I do have a publishing company. I am eager to work with you. This process is a process. Writing a book is not a fast process, but I am here with you to hold your hand every step of the way, and we will get her done. Okay? We will get her done. And now that I didn't say a Winston-Salem State, everybody from Winston-Salem State trying to chime in, don't do that. I'll just kidding. Let me show. Ramily is in the house. I know you know what that means. That's y'all family. Hello. I love it. I love it. So I will have my information, which has been on the screen, but also my email address. If you want to find out what it takes to take your idea of a book from start to finish. Now, again, the person that invited you, I want you to go back and I want you to purchase at least 2 books because I'm going to ask them. Go back and purchase at least 2 books and bless somebody. We've got the holidays coming up. And these are encouraging words. Y'all just heard a snippet. A snippet. That's all you heard today. And if you bought the book, Don't let it sit and gather dust on your nightstand. What I want you to do is read it. Hallelujah. I want you to read the book and let it begin to change some things in you. All right. So y'all have a fantabulous weekend. Thank you so much for joining us today. And until next time, y'all be blessed.
Bye.